Sometimes I look at couples, older ones walking down the street, and I see stories that no one's telling. I imagine sitting in their kitchen, behind the scenes of what the world calls marriage. There's this man I've seen. He's the kind of man who doesn't try to be noticed, but everything about him demands attention. Tall, blue eyes, white goatee, strong arms that still carry quiet authority. A belly, soft and round, like life's trophy for surviving everything and still standing proud. He walks like a man who once dreamed of more, and settled for less. Sometimes I watch him from across the street. He doesn't know, he'll never know. But I see him, the way she no longer does. He's everything I've dreamed of. Tall, solid, that deep, quiet voice that feels like home. He has this presence. He fills the room without trying. White hair like silver threads, a goatee like an exclamation mark of wisdom. And that belly, God, it's not a flaw. It's a story, a map of life lived with dignity. Sometimes I feel guilty for wanting what belongs to someone else. But is it really hers, if she no longer sees it? He's married, to a woman who barely sees him. She talks to him like he's a credit card with shoes. She decides what he wears, where they go, and when they speak, if at all. They're in what people call a normal marriage. But from where I stand, it's a love story gone blind. But she doesn't see him anymore. He's a provider, not a partner. A chauffeur, not a champion. She chooses his clothes, his food, his friends. She leaves him no space to be a man, let alone to be adored. And I catch myself thinking, I wish his wife could borrow my eyes for just one day, because if she could see him the way I do, she would slow down. She would notice the weight he carries in silence. She would hear the deepness of his voice like I do, velvet and storm. She would take his hands, not for what they can give, but for what they have endured. She'd touch his belly like it's a monument, not a flaw. She would make him feel chosen again. But she doesn't, and I can't. Because I'm just a bystander in a life that will never be mine. This story, it's not about stealing anyone's husband. It's not even about lust. It's about seeing someone, truly seeing them, and wishing the person who should love them actually did. I've never touched this man. I never will. But in my thoughts, where no one dares to go, I've imagined what it would be like to be the one who brings light back into his tired eyes. Not because I'm lonely, but because he deserves more than being a background character in his own life. I wish I could be her, just for a day, to treat him the way he should be treated, to remind him what it feels like to be adored, not for what he gives, but for who he is. And if I can't be her, then I wish she could borrow my eyes, because with my eyes, she would see a king where she sees a wallet. She would see strength where she sees silence. She would see desire where she sees duty. And maybe, just maybe, she'd remember the man she married before life made her forget how to love him. If you've ever seen someone and had to keep it quiet, you're not alone.